Kia ora, g'day, welcome back once again, here with a request this time, and this request has come from somebody who I've not yet met, but just through the interactions that I've been fortunate to have with this person through my channel and comments, and more recently some emails. I have a lot of respect for this person. This individual is also a current serving member within the unit. So to receive this video and the suggestion, he said I might want to do something with it on the channel. I've actually been getting a few requests and have been for a while. This is in regards to the Bondi terrorist attacks that tragically took place. I've intentionally left that alone, but this one's, I suppose it's different because it's come from somebody that's currently serving in the regiment, and yeah, he's dropped it there. He hasn't said I have to. He just says I might want to. He's just made the suggestion. But yeah, anyway, for those reasons, I'm going to jump into this one. And I haven't seen this video. This is called Tracking the Bondi Shooters, Path to Radicalization and Terrorism, Four Corners documentary. So one thing I'll probably say before we jump in, ABC documentary, I've shared my thoughts around ABC airing BS constantly with regards to stuff that they've done in regards to Mr. Heston Russell and other things that they've, I suppose, been out there trying to do in terms of pulling down, in particular, the Australian regiment. Anyway, I have no idea what's in there, and we'll jump in and see how we go. Let's jump in.
From a quiet teenager to mass murderer, Naveed Akram and his father Sajid are responsible for the deadliest terrorist attack on Australian soil.
An act of evil anti-Semitism.
Naveed Akram and Sajid, both cowards, a couple of useless cowards, grabbing the weapons, doing the planning that they've done to go out and shoot unarmed civilians and children, women and children, senior citizens, middle-aged people, everything in between, indiscriminate, didn't care, complete F-wits. And that's not hate speech, that's just my opinion around what these two idiots, father and son, decided to do.
Terrorism that has struck the heart of our nation.
Australia is in shock at the killing of 15 people on behalf of the Islamic State terrorist group, or ISIS.
These individuals are alleged to have acted alone.
Immediately, questions were asked about intelligence failures.
One of these individuals was known to us, but not in an immediate threat perspective, so obviously we need to look into what happened here.
Believed to have acted alone, and these guys were known to them, but not in the capacity of which resulted or what resulted in. Nuts. I don't think they're going to crack where all that stuff went wrong in this 50-minute clip, and I'm not either, but there's some strange or odd similarities, I suppose, to some of the stuff that I was reacting to in the Tucker Carlson 9/11 series with regards to, again, terrorists that were known and nothing was done about it. I don't know if these people were known as terrorists. He didn't come out and say that term, I don't think. But man, you'd think if somebody's on your radar for an intelligence agency that's charged with the responsibility of keeping the people safe within your country, you would think that a bit more time, energy, resources might be committed to keeping an eye on people like this.
We tracked down an insider who gathered intelligence for Australia's spy agency ASIO, and he told us astonishing information about the Bondi attackers. Have Australians been told the real story about what happened?
Doesn't match what I knew about the situation.
Was this an intelligence failure?
It has the hallmarks of it.
As the nation seeks truth and healing, this former spy wants to share what he knows with the Royal Commission.
People were killed, and public need to understand and to see what led to this horrible terror attack.
I'd love to hear what he has to say. Hey, I'm just interested. I was like, it doesn't sound like any Australian I've ever met. But obviously, respectfully and understanding, I don't sound like any Australian either, but I have the privilege and blessing of having dual citizenship, having gone over to Australia and been fortunate to do what I was able to do. and no doubt, like this guy, I assume if he was working for if he was working as a former spy for Australia, then I assume he has all the credentials, clearances, far more than what I would have had, and citizenship to go with it. But I'm definitely keen to hear what he has to say about potential failings from a national intelligence security perspective.
On Four Corners, we retrace the gunman's path to radicalisation. We examine what authorities knew and when, and we ask whether the Bondi massacre could have been prevented.
I don't know about could it have been prevented. Probably almost anything in hindsight could be prevented, but again, that's in hindsight. Trying to get better, I get it, trying to get better to see how and where and what we can learn from so that hopefully nothing like this happens again is another thing. But I think similar sort of things would have been said around the Port Arthur massacre, the Lint Cafe siege, this thing, and however many other tragic events that have resulted in the loss of life, how we could try to do better and prevent those things from happening. But people that are, in my experience, that are persistent enough, that are stubborn enough, that have a desire to want to execute and carry out something that, you or I, as we sit here and watch this, might not agree with, may just despise it completely. It's always going to be hard to try to prevent somebody that's committed to doing something, even when they know that it's wrong. Yeah, anyway, let's crack on.
Along the streets of Cabramatta in Sydney's southwest, Naveed Akram would walk home from school.
Hi.
Jordan?
Yeah.
Thanks for having us today.
No worries.
Good to meet you.
You too.
Can I come in?
Yeah, sure.
His mate at Cabramatta High, Jordan Barron, joined him most afternoons.
There's a video of me and him in class, giggling, laughing, not taking anything too serious. Yeah.
How does this compare to the Naveed you saw in the Bondi attack?
It just doesn't make any sense at all. It's like two different people, totally.
We're continuing this coverage of this
That must be hard and shocking for his mate here to be looking back at that footage or to know Naveed, the person that he knew growing up. That must be, I don't know. I can't even pretend to or imagine to begin to describe what that fella must be feeling.
horrific event at Bondi. We've got video of it here.
Jordan was at home on the Sunday evening of December 14 when news of the attack broke.
I hear my mum yelling out to me, Jordan, there's been a shooting in Bondi. I went into the lounge room and there was a guy standing on the bridge, and the person on the screen turned to the camera and I saw someone I recognized. Around 5 minutes later, I get a bunch of notifications in one of my Snapchat groups, and all I see is my friends just typing his name, Naveed. And that's when I realized, I know this person. This is Naveed Akram. I just couldn't imagine someone I knew or had memories of commit something so heinous. The only word I can really give him would be quiet.
Jordan says Naveed developed strong beliefs as a teenager.
One thing that everyone at school or everyone in his grade would realize is you don't really make any sexual or raunchy jokes around him. Nothing to do with anything gay. He was very against that. The only times I remember him getting angry or, aggressive would be when anyone mentions anything that would test his faith.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers. We're here at Bankstown Station, spreading dawah, doing the work of the Prophet, continuing the work of the Prophets. Guys, spread dawah wherever you can. Spread the message, whether it be raining, hailing, or clear sky.
By the age of 17,
Bloody shut up.
Naveed Akram had dropped out of school and joined a crew of street preachers.
Inshallah, this will save you on the Day of Judgment.
The group, called Street Dawah, roamed.
This will save you on the Day of Judgment. I don't think grabbing your guns and going out and shooting a whole bunch of unarmed, innocent people, men, women and children, is going to save you come Day of Judgment, mate. if that even exists. Your day of judgment, I hope you just bloody get the life sentence, because there's no death sentence in Australia. I would be supportive of that. Less strain and drain on the taxpayers' money to support your lifestyle in prison. As limited and as restricted as that might be, I think there's some benefits, to keeping, personally, I think there's some benefits to keeping the death penalty as an option, but in certain circumstances. Anyway, right or wrong, that's my thoughts.
Bankstown to convert teenagers.
Street dawa in itself is quite common in many places around the world, and it's just a way that people might introduce someone to their religion of Islam. But in Australia, we know that street dawas have been involved for a number of decades now in the recruitment of radical and violent extremists.
Peter Lowe has spent more than a decade trying to de-radicalise young terrorists.
That's interesting, what she just said. So they know whatever the rubbish is, going out there targeting teenagers to radicalise them. Well, if you know that, what are you doing about it? I'm no lawyer, right? So I don't understand the ins and outs and all that sort of thing. But clearly, if something bad like that is happening, then maybe put more time, energy, again, resources into trying to stamp that out. Deport these people? I don't know, That's probably why I'm not in government.
Naveed was attending street dawa where we know he was directly engaged with individuals who have gone on to be convicted of terrorism offences.
Live in Bankstown, Street Dawa Movement, Australia.
There was a spy inside the group. He was undercover, monitoring terrorists for Australia's intelligence agency, ASIO.
Well, that lines up pretty well then, Perfect cover. Looks like the ethnicity of the people that I suppose they're targeting, or maybe they're targeting anyone, so maybe that's completely wrong. But, who would have an understanding of the cultural aspects, speaks the lingo, makes sense.
He's agreed to talk to us.
I'm still suspicious of ABC, don't get me wrong, in terms of what they choose to air or what they choose to put out. So, I guess take it with a pinch of salt. Not only what I say, but I think also what ABC is projecting.
We're withholding our destination for his safety. It's not the first time we've had to meet like this. Thank you for meeting with us again.
You're welcome.
This man is a former human source for ASIO, known as an agent. His ASIO codename was Marcus. He was never an official employee, but the agency funded his life while he infiltrated Sydney's Islamic State terrorist network for 6 years.
So not an official employee, but a resource, an agent, an agent, they said, who they could use to get intelligence and information from. No doubt video footage recordings too, I imagine.
First time I met Naveed, he used to come to join our street da'wah in Bankstown. I didn't see any concern about him. He was very normal and he was very young at that time with not much knowledge about Islam. He was learning from people around him.
Did you think he was capable of becoming a killer?
No, not at all. No.
ASIO had recruited Marcus from the Middle East to pose as a radical imam in Sydney.
I was pretending I am an extremist. I was pretending I was supporter of ISIS.
8 months before the Bondi attack, he warned Four Corners Australia was dangerously exposed to Islamic State terrorism.
If you attack Allah, if you attack our Prophet, our religion, and our fellow brothers and sisters, and if you attack our lands, then you are going to be met with men who love death more than you love life.
One of his main targets was...
If that were true, you bloody twat, if that were true, met with men who love death more than you love life, then why are you rocking up with guns? And the people that you are attacking, who are trying to live their lives peacefully, you're shooting them. Why don't you arm them and then make it a fairer interaction or exchange? Okay, or better yet, why don't you, because then again, you probably have done some training, right? And preparing what you think you know is best to prepare to shoot unarmed civilians, men, women, and children. Well, then why don't you take on those and give a heads up to those that will bear arms and come and bring the fight to you as well, who still love life as much as those innocent civilians that you gunned down, but who will come to the front line to fucking meet you head on. This is, it sounds like bullshit to me in terms of what that fellow was just saying. So yeah, a little bit heated right now as I sit here, listen to this. Is probably part of the reason why I didn't want to do a reaction to the Bondi shootings. But to listen to this twat speak like that, real easy, eh? To grab guns and go up against people that are unarmed in a street who are not suspecting anything. Different story. You want to give a time, date, location, and you want to go and meet people that are prepared to tool up and come and meet you in that same space.
Was this notorious preacher, Wissam Haddad, also known as Abu Usaid, a spiritual leader for Australia's Islamic State network.
You're no spiritual leader, mate. You're a bloody twat. And you're probably still roaming around free as well. You are a dickhead. Spiritual leader. Wow. Can give yourself any title, I suppose, eh? In that line of work.
Marcus spent years inside his inner circle.
How important was Abu Usaid to you and to ASIO as a target?
They look at him as he's the most important jihadist, extremist preacher in Sydney.
If you look at him that way, why don't you just bundle the clown up and put him somewhere? Or deport him, or whatever needs to happen. Like if he's on the radar that much and he's the most important person, which is what this guy is saying, the ASIO, former ASIO agent, why are we just sitting back watching him?
Wissam Haddad has been on ASIO's radar for most of his adult life. We've mapped his close ties to a web of recruiters, ISIS cells, radical prayer groups, and terrorist leaders abroad.
Assalamu alaikum. Another day of da'wah. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Assalamu alaikum.
Marcus witnessed how Haddad's preachers recruited young people on the streets and then indoctrinated them at his radical prayer hall, Al Medina Dawah Centre. Marcus said it was like an ISIS training camp.
I told ASIO, you think you are in an ISIL camp in Syria or in Iraq. The materials of ISIL, videos, the songs of ISIL, they are aware about all this information.
In May 2019...
Doesn't look good for ASIO, eh? But again, this is where I take what ABC shares or chooses to broadcast with a pinch of salt, eh? Still, to me, ABC airing BS constantly. Now it appears, at least initially to me, it looks like they're trying to bring down Australia's security and intelligence organisation, network, etc. Which, yeah, I don't know, it just sort of doesn't sit right in terms of what they've tried to do to Heston Russell, to SF in general for Australia. It's like, bro, these are the people, the organisations that would gladly go to the front line to risk it all to keep you safe so that you can broadcast the stuff and try to tear them down. It's just crazy to me. So I have no experience whatsoever with regards to ASIO or anything like that. So, but it doesn't paint them in a good picture in this documentary. But I suppose if we just keep in mind that ABC and Four Corners are about the clicks and whatever else they're after, and that they don't seem to care how poorly it makes somebody look. Don't get me wrong, if somebody's just been real lazy, stupid, or corrupt, 100% make them look as stupid and as ridiculous as you can. But do that if you've got all the information, is what I would say. In the case of Heston Russell, as an example, sorry to go back to that, but just to try to put a layer over this in terms of, because I can feel myself getting elevated and getting upset listening to what I'm hearing. I understand and have that reference point to know that, okay, well, ABC, they're going to layer whatever they want to and broadcast whatever narrative they want people to hear in regards to what may or may not have happened. So I'm not here to try to judge ASIO at all, although, again, coming back, it doesn't make them look good. But at the same time, it didn't make Heston Russell or the November Platoon look good. We found out that that was a whole crock of BS as well. So this may very well be the same thing.
Bankstown Street Dawa introduced Naveed Akram on social media as their new brother.
Usually we have a little shahada. So we'll keep coming, inshallah.
Yeah, well, I'll put a little.
Inshallah. Would you go to tape or something? Yeah.
Wissam Haddad's preachers were part of the group.
Most of those attendees of this street dawah are peaceful, nice, kind people. But unfortunately, some were extremists.
Can you repeat after?
Yeah, I guess maybe that's true, eh? But role playing, people are less susceptible and have got less time for you if you come across as a wanker and you're rude and you're obnoxious and all that sort of thing. So being friendly, being nice, all that sort of stuff that he's talking about. Of course, if you want to try to convince people or influence people or attract people, you're not going to come across, or I'd like to think you're not going to try to come across as a twat.
I bear witness. I bear witness. That there is no God. There is no God. But Allah. And I bear witness.
Naveed Akram was brought into the group by this preacher called Yahya. He's Wissam Haddad's right-hand man.
This is usually what happens. We stop to get coffee. It's 7-Eleven just before we get to the city, inshallah.
Yahya spent the past decade in street dawah groups which were monitored by ASIO. The groups were recruiting young Australians to terrorism. Yahya was with the crew filming this video of Naveed in 2019.
Are you in contact with Yahya?
Yeah.
You keep in contact with him? Yeah. He's very good.
Yeah.
Jazakallah khair.
I'll see you later. I'll see you later.
Your YouTube, your Facebook.
Days after this video was posted online, Yahya drew Naveed in deeper. He invited him to spend 10 nights at Sydney's Othman bin Affan Mosque on a religious retreat for Ramadan called Itikaf, with members of a terror cell Marcus had infiltrated. Four Corners has confirmed Marcus was part of their group at the mosque.
First time I raised a concern about Naveed was during Ramadan 2019, as he was associated with ISIS supporters.
He claims the group brainwashed Naveed with ISIS videos.
There were a group of ISIS supporters.
And it just highlights, I should say, how susceptible we are. People might say I was brainwashed with regards to my time in the military or service within the Special Air Service. Hey, maybe. But you know what? I can say this with some confidence. I would have rather been brainwashed being a member of the Special Air Service Regiment who don't go around murdering and killing innocent women, children, men, elderly people, etc., but who go out to instead look to take on people that want to try to rule with terror and oppressing other people. So if that's a bad thing, I would do that every single time. If I was reincarnated and had to come back, that's a life I would choose to live and go and serve in again and again and again. Maybe, again, it's no different to these ISIS people, right? Once they get caught up in what it is and how they, I suppose, believe that they've maybe been wronged or people are doing things to try to bring them down or they're not happy about it, well then they seem to have no issue with going out and just either blowing themselves up or blowing other people up and taking out people that have no idea what's coming and who are unarmed. And those things, it couldn't be more cowardly, in my opinion, than that. And then to stand at their pulpit and preach the way that Wissam Doodad, whatever his face is, speaking is just ridiculous. Yeah, I personally don't understand it, but I suppose it's not my place to try to understand it. I'd rather just try to be a part of the group that looks to remove that sort of mindset and belief in those types of actions that they want to take out on other people, on innocent people.
And Naveed was one of those people who did this religious retreat. During those 10 nights, Naveed was exposed to materials of ISIS, including clips, videos, magazines from the Philippines, from Afghanistan, from some parts in Syria and Iraq. I was eyewitness because I was in this i'tikaf, I was in this religious retreat.
We've been unable to independently verify what happened within the group. Marcus says they showed Naveed one video on repeat. An old message from an Australian fighter in Syria where Islamic State was collapsing.
That's for those of you who can't make it to this battle, in particular to the Muwahideen in Australia. And if you are unable to make hijrah, then inflict terror upon the kuffar and punish them for their crimes against the Muslims. Make the lands of the Crusaders your battlefield.
He's calling for attacks in Australia.
Yes.
And Naveed watched this.
Yes, during the i'tikaf.
Those nights in late May and early June 2019 were pivotal for Naveed. He came into contact with the terrorist who would land him on ASIO's radar, Isaac El-Matari, the self-declared Australian commander of ISIS. El-Matari was trying to recruit for attacks at that time.
The El-Matari cell. This cell had really quite diverse and significant engagement with the international Islamic State universe or ecosystem. They had connections into Lebanon, into Syria, into Kenya. They were connected to people in the United States, were connected to people in Afghanistan, all part of a broad Islamic State ecosystem.
Listen, I'm going to pause this here. I only got through about 13 minutes of this, and this is nearly half an hour. This video may get blocked. I'll just mention that now. This video may get blocked on YouTube, like some of my other reactions to ABC content, in particular around Ben Roberts-Smith. Not copyrighted or anything like that. It's just been blocked. Nothing I can do about that. People have suggested I create a website and maybe post my videos or whatever up there, my reactions and stuff up there. I'd do that if I could be bothered putting together a website and going through all of that sort of hoo-ha to do that. So anyway, this is, again, want to acknowledge and shout out the bro that's currently serving in the regiment for your time and for sending through this video and suggesting, not saying that I needed to, but saying that I might want to do something with it. So I've taken that as a suggestion and appreciate your time. The timing of it, probably there's been quite a few requests come through. Hey, are you going to do something to the Bondi terrorists? Be interesting to hear your thoughts on the Bondi terror attacks. Hey, have you seen this about the Bondi terrorists? What's your thoughts on when the father was killed during that terror attack and the son being in prison, blah, blah, blah. There's quite a lot. So I appreciate that, but I hadn't received anything from somebody that's still serving in the regiment. And so to get this particular video, through a message, through an email, and just with those comments added in there at the end, I thought, yeah, you know what, I'll do something to this. Apologies for some of my language that may have come through. I'm not worried if it upset bloody these twats that believe in this rubbish. That's not who I'm referring to. If you're offended by what I've shared, I really couldn't care less. I'm talking about the other people, the rest of us who don't agree with the crap that you're spouting at these whatever religious retreats where you're showing and spreading messages of terrorism and war and hate and looking to take people out or start causing what happened at Bondi Beach in a country where you've been fortunate to receive not asylum but a place to call home. So very, very poor. But if it's upset some of those that might feel the same as me but haven't been happy with the language that I've used, well, yeah, it is what it is, eh? But appreciate your time. Appreciate the support that I receive on this little channel. I acknowledge and I really don't care if there are any comments or things that are put down that are upset with me. Like, fill your boots. I don't care. It won't be the first time and it won't be the last. But if you are an idiot and you want to go around and you think that killing innocent civilians who have no idea of what you're about to do, including children, women, men, elderly people, and having people run for their lives because you're just indiscriminately killing people, if you think that that's a good thing to do, then you are a dickhead. It's as simple as that. And the world, in my opinion, is better off without people like that. Okay, that's not hate speech. That's just me expressing my honest thoughts and opinions. No different to if anybody else said, "Oh, I think the world is better off without a military," or "I think the world is better off without having special forces soldiers," or whatever. People have a right, in my view, in my opinion, to express their thoughts and their opinion. But when you act on those thoughts and opinions in a way like this, or what these people have chosen to do, Naveed and his dad, to go and kill people, well then, yeah, that's just stupid. And so that's why I say, in circumstances, it would be good to keep that death penalty, in my opinion, anyway. So anyway, appreciate your time and support once again, and for stopping by, for listening to me Babylon. Yeah, we'll see if this gets blocked or not. But with that being said, yeah, the message is always the same. Regardless of any challenges, difficulties that you may be going through or that you may have, man, just stay in the fight. Put one foot in front of the other. Take one day at a time. Keep turning up. Know and trust that things can do and will get better if you want them to. I understand 100% that's easier said than done. And when you're not in the thick of it in those moments, really struggling, really hurting, it's even easier to say. So I acknowledge that. But I also know what it's like when you're in those environments and when you're in that headspace and when it feels like things are spiraling out of control and it feels like you can't do anything about it. Sometimes all you can do, and sometimes all I've been able to do, is just cling on to hope and the desire to want to try to make things be better. And so that has always helped me. I'm sure that if it can help somebody like me, that it could help anybody. But again, like with anything, we have to want it. So just know that the sun will shine again, that there are better days ahead, and those better days are always closer than you and I think. So just keep at it. As always, go always a little further. Remember, who dares wins and who cares wins. And until the next video, there is a big mana wave coming from me to you, filled with my aroha, respect, appreciation, and gratitude for you all.